Hey lovelies, Lisa here, and yeah, not necessarily my idea to film outside today. It's a little chilly. I mean, it's gorgeous. The ocean, which you'll hear throughout this video. I don't know if you can hear the birds. If you hear that tapping in the background, this is why I'm outside. My husband he's a writer, and he's literally typing on a Hermes 3000, the most beautiful typewriter that was ever built. Unbelievably gorgeous typewriter. If I can, I'll drop a picture of it in. In fact, my hands, it's a gorgeous manual typewriter. My hands are too weak, I guess. It's hard for me to type on it. I learned to type on an electric typewriter. People don't learn to type anymore, I guess. Anyway, so I wanted to share two things. One, I wanted to share this find that we went to an estate sale here on the coast the other day, and my husband, who's just, he's like fearlessly extroverted, just like will chat up anybody, I mean, I'm like this weird, I'm an introvert, but here I am on YouTube. I'm like an introvert who likes to pretend she's an extrovert. I'm an extroverted introvert, as I suspect that many of us are here on social media. Ezra's really, he just draws, true extrovert really draws energy from meeting new people and sharing their stories, and anyway, so he was chatting up the woman who was running the estate sale, and he gave her my card, which I'm like, oh, just like makes me, oh, and she's like, oh, tarot, yeah, we had some tarot decks, I didn't put them out. So she pulled out this box, and in it was, I had to collate it, but a complete, I don't know if it's I think it's a first edition of the Juliet, Sharman-Burke, and Liz Dean, Greene, Mythic tarot, with the Trisha Newell illustrations, right? It's very thin cardstock, that really bendy cardstock, and a few cards have like this, just maybe two, the Magician is one of them, have this staining on. Are these all upside down? Yes, they are. This staining on them, but otherwise they're in really good shape. And you can tell that they were loved. They were in a box with a set of runes that had some broken tiles. I didn't pick it up. A pendulum, which I also didn't pick up, and like a kind of ritual little dagger type thing. Mostly this woman who didn't die, but she's gone. I think she got, she aged in her house on the coast, and, living on the Oregon coast. Lots of things that retirees do, but you reach a point where it might be a little bit hard. So I think she's moved to assisted living. But, her loves seem to have been Africa. There are all sorts of African type tchotchkes and dogs, tons and tons of dog books. And dog pillows, and then this weird little box of sort of new agey, tarot-y things. Just this was the only tarot deck. There's another. The Hanged Man also has that blue. So it's in, and you can see the sort of blue edging on a couple of them. The Eight of Wands. You can see how it's right there. So slightly damaged, which actually, I love a beautiful damaged vintage deck. And this is a deck that I've always admired in theory. Trisha Newell's artwork has never kind of deeply inspired me, so I never picked it up back when it came out in the 80s. I had a friend who thought this was the Cat's Meow, and this was the deck that she was working with back in the day. But I didn't really trope toward it, but I respect it a lot. And actually, now that I have it in my hands, the images are kind of I've been playing with it a little bit this weekend and reading the book. It didn't come with the book, but the Fool's Dog app has the full book in it. So I've been reading the book and just really loving what Juliet Sharman-Burke was trying to do. Oh, look at the Seven of Cups. So anyway, the Mythic Tarot, and love the backs. So this, sort of chocolatey brown. I've heard that they're coming out with a new edition of the original artwork. Is that right? Does anyone know about that? If you do, please let me know in the comments below. I'd be interested in that. Anyway, so the Mythic Tarot, I have it in a bag that doesn't belong to it because I don't yet have a bag for it. And in my universe, if I don't have a bag for it, I can't really play with it. I can look at it, but I can't really start working with the deck. So I got to get a bag. And that was really cool. I mean, oh, and the other thing was, she basically just gave me the deck. She hadn't been planning to sell it. So, yeah, first edition, or at least an early edition of the Mythic Tarot. Okay, I've also been wanting to do an unboxing for you guys. This came from Korea Post. I want to say 6 weeks ago. This has been sitting in my shrine room unopened for a very, very long time. And there are a couple reasons for that. One, I really wanted to do an unboxing, and I didn't have enough time to do it. And two, I got a bunch of decks. I think it arrived maybe a little bit before the Northwest Tarot Symposium, and I got a flood of decks around that time. I got decks from the potlatch table at the at Newt's Northwest Tarot Symposium, and I got a couple of other decks that I'd ordered, and I had my whole debacle with Stella's Tarot, and that was kind of, and it just I didn't have the room to integrate a new tarot deck into my heart and into my life, and much less a deck that I have been coveting for this long. So yeah, so this is a deck that's out of print, which when it was in print, it was a deck that I knew was going to be an important deck for me. There are a couple of decks like that. The Marielle Tarot is another one, a deck that I know I'm going to have to work with. I don't own the Marielle Tarot. Now, in that case, what's kind of stopped me is its glossiness. I've heard, and again, this is if you guys know more about this than I do, I've heard that the Marielle Tarot is coming out coming out soon again, a new one. If you know about this, please drop some comments below if you have any more information. My earnest hope is that it will come out in a matte version with different cardstock. But at any rate, the Marielle, it's so clearly a deck that I have needed to work with, and I've just, it's like sort of in reserve. This one is another one of those decks that I've known that I need, that will be an important deck for me. I've known that. I've resisted full-on flip-throughs of the deck for just that reason. I mean, I'm someone who consumes walkthroughs, reviews. I love looking at all of the images in a deck online, and when I'm thinking about it, I'll obsessively, I think you know what I'm talking about, watch videos. But for decks like the Marielle, and for this one, I've resisted looking at all the images because I just know the decks are going to be important to me. So I resisted buying this deck. It was a US Games deck. I knew that I knew that I needed it. I took for granted that it would always be there. Don't we do that with life? It's like, this will always be here. This thing, I will always have it when I need it. And then they discontinued it. And when I realized that, I was like, crap. So then I started looking for it on the secondary market and realized that it had almost instantly become really expensive. And so I had a couple of close calls with purchasing it. There was, I searched and searched, and there was an art gallery that was selling it for just $95, which seemed like a bargain compared to what it was going for elsewhere. Or not a bargain, but reasonable. And my husband had said to me that he wanted to gift me a tarot deck. So I sort of hinted. I sent him, it was a pretty broad hint. I sent him the link. And then I just assumed that he had bought it. And he didn't give it to me. And, like Hallmark things happened, like our anniversary, not that we celebrate either Hanukkah or Christmas, but, that happened. And it was the new year. And I was like, So finally I said, did you ever buy me that deck? He's like, what deck? In the meantime, when I had thought that he had bought it, I found a pretty inexpensive copy on eBay, like even less expensive, maybe $50 or something. And I purchased it, or maybe $75, something like that. And I got an email from the seller. It was like a conglomerate, like someone who sells a lot of stuff, a power seller, saying, oh, we made a mistake. We actually sold that already. It's like, oh. And in the meantime, when I had ordered that, thinking that, and then also before then, thinking my husband had bought me a copy, a YouTuber emailed me saying that she was selling all of her, or a bunch of her tarot decks, and she sent me a list. And I didn't get the message for a while, and then it was lost in my inbox. I never wrote her back initially, and then finally when I did write her back, I was like, I'd be interested in this deck. She's like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to sell this stuff. I've decided to hold on to it or donate a bunch of it. And then I noticed that she was in fact selling it on eBay, but that was when I was waiting for my husband to gift me this deck. And then finally, I saw this seller selling a sealed version of this deck. And I bought it. And it's here. And I believe it was $65. I think that was how much I spent for it. So can you figure out what the deck is? If you figure out what the deck is, you get a special, reward from the cosmos. This is it. This is it. Oh. Yeah. I still don't want to open it. It's so funny. Yeah. All right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to use my teeth. I don't think you're supposed to do that. Yeah. The plastic is resisting me. There we go. Oh my God, this is such a nice box. Yeah. So why did they, I guess US Games knows what they're doing. I guess it's not that nice a box. Oh, it's a pretty nice box. Oh, I guess they know what they're doing when they take decks out of circulation. Oh, the book is hurt. The book is hurt. Oh, it's really hurt. Ha. So check that out. They trimmed it, but it had been bent over. Well, not a deal breaker. I mean, none of this is a deal breaker. Oh. They're slightly larger cards, aren't they? You guys know this deck. I mean, I'm almost loath to do more than plastic than a quick little first impressions, because you guys know this deck. There are tons and tons of flip throughs online, which I've never watched all the way through. I don't know what these cards look like, all of them. I think I'm going to have to edit out. Oh. I'm going to do this trick. Do you know this trick? The earring trick? sitting on my porch on a cold, blustery coast day. I'm not quite prepared to do all of the YouTube maneuvers of an unboxing video. Wow. So why have I thought that this deck would really speak to me? I don't know. I mean, I love what I've seen of the artwork. Oh, nice cardstock. I love surrealism. I love oh my God, the colors. Oh Lord. Christ. Oh man. The sort of you know, it's really it's kind of, it feels French to me. It really does. Not that I know. Oh, look at that strength card. Oh my God. I don't even have anything to say. You know, the renaming of the courts, Jester and Stranger and Queen and King, I don't know what to say about that. I don't know if I like it. Oh, I love the Two of Fire. Oh, my husband's talking to me through the phone. I didn't hear it. I'm filming. Oh, my husband interrupted me to ask me, what's that thing called that you throw the ball with? He's talking about a check-it. You know, I mean, when you're writing and you don't have the words. Anyway, I think I was just, oh my God. I want to cry. Oh. Isn't that one of Becca's favorite cards? Jesus Christ. The Ten of Tides, Ten of Cups. Oh my God. Oh my God. So, yeah, so they're bigger than I thought they were going to be. I don't have a standard tarot deck, but they're definitely wider and taller. Now I know people end up trimming this. If I were someone who was competent to trim, and if I had a spare copy. Oh my God, these are gorgeous. All right, yeah, I think I'm in love. I feel like I want to cry. What's the whole clown thing with the Jester? It's interesting, isn't it? I'm not sure, you know, actually, this card is, of all the cards I've flipped through, the Fool is kind of my least favorite. Oh, look at this Hanged Man. Yeah, this is like probably the worst unboxing first impressions video ever. Apologies. It's sort of random and rambly, and I'm sitting on a deck and the world outside is noisy. The sound quality is really crappy. But I have the Japaritse Tarot. Oh my Lord. Ooh. Anyway, I have to dive in. So I'm a little bit sad about the guidebook. Not so sad though. Guidebooks are not, I mean, they're useful information. Yeah, I have to dive in. So Steve Lucas is the owner and director of the Gallery of Surrealism. That was the gallery that was selling copies of this for $95. A gallery, bookstore, and publishing house specializing in surrealist and neo-romantic art. So he's the guy who wrote the book. The overall structure of the deck is consistent with the majority of those that precede it. Nino has intended to position the imagery in a timeless setting. Oh, the Emperor is here presented as war. All right. Well, we'll see. I mean, I have no idea. I have no idea if the deck will ultimately speak to me as a reading deck, actually. Who knows? And that's the funny thing, isn't it? Like, you lust after a deck and you think it's going to be so meaningful, and then it's, you really have no idea. But it's beautiful to have it in my hands. Okay, that's enough for now, I think. And I will come back to this deck once I've had some time to really work with it and get a sense of it. And I will keep you posted about my journeys with the Mythic Tarot, which the universe brought to me this weekend on the coast. Okay, as always, thank you so much for your practice, everyone. Take good care. Just glorious. Whoops! There's your ball, Opal! Get your ball! Get your ball! Good girl! Good girl! Where's your ball? Where's your ball, Opal? Where's your ball? Where's your ball?